Okay, let's go to the biggie. Number 2, Ohio State traveled to State College today to go up against number 13, Penn State. Honestly, styles make fights. And Penn State got knocked out. Was it 2 weeks ago? They had a bye. They had Michigan, a bye week, Ohio State set up pretty good. You're still sandwiched in between two monsters, but regardless, I thought they would come back, bouncing back better. Penn State with the lead in the fourth quarter. They give up 28 points in the last 6 minutes. They get blown out 44-31. Strange game. If you to look at it on paper, it's going to look strange. Penn State outgained the Buckeyes 482 to 452. They controlled the pace. They controlled both ends of the line of scrimmage for most of the game until the dam broke. Hack already gave it to you earlier. Marvin Harrison Jr. was the go-to. He had the cape flowing. Couple big third down and fourth down opportunities. The Buckeyes line up and go straight to him. He pays it off for him. Ohio State remains undefeated. Felder, we're going to start with you because I know Hack will take us out. Did Ohio State answer some questions today, or was this just a monstrous drop on Penn State's part?
I think they answered some questions. It's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. But here's the thing. The reality for me, they're not where they want to be when it comes to running the football.
Who is they?
Ohio State. Ohio State is not where they want to be running the football. They are not as tough as they want to be up front. And they spent, in my estimation, they probably spent 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Go ahead, Hack.
What I will say, though, is unlike previous years, Ryan Day is at least showing a propensity to not abandon it.
The run.
Full on, just fuck it. You've seen Ryan Day do that in the past where he's just
the Haskins season. Yep.
Here we go. We're 2 yards of carry. All right, screw it. We're dropping back 55 times.
Correct.
Still doing it. I think that was very valuable today, and I didn't want to cut you off, but I think that's what you were probably getting to.
You hit the nail on the head. I don't have to say it anymore. They did work on it, and then obviously when Miyan Williams gets hurt, they're like, we got to go with Henderson, and they're doing something that we've seen Alabama do a lot of times, which is this is the thing that we're working on today. And this is the thing that we're going to do. And then when they get to that point, you get to the fourth quarter and it's a one-score game, and you're like, okay, we got to do the thing that works so that we can make sure that we win this game because we ultimately have bigger goals than just figuring this out. And I'll just say this. I think that the most beautiful part of this game for me, and I know Penn State lost, and you lose by 13, and I understand, but the reality for me is watching the way they use Parker Washington to isolate him as the number 3 receiver instead of he's their leading receiver. In theory, he should be number 1, right? Like on the outside. Maybe he could be number 2 in the slot. But they played him as the number 3 guy a lot, which means he got ISO'd on safeties and linebackers. And that little circle route, that little angle route, that bang, like that little snag, that little, like, it's like a whip. Like he's doing all these things, and he's doing it to the people that can't cover him. And it's not fair to them, but it's a great schematic situation. This is a guy, listen, we can talk about Marvin Harrison, 10 catches for 185. Parker Washington, 11 catches for 179 yards. And so what we've seen is an Ohio State defense that has been rebuilt, that is aggressive, that is tough. But when you're playing cover 0 and that number 3 guy is the other team's number 1 guy, you're going to have problems with that. And I don't think Ohio State figured out how to adjust. So that's something that Jim Knowles is going to have to address. I don't know who else can hurt him that way, maybe until they get to the playoff. But that is something that it's on film now. You know what I'm saying, Hack?
I see
it. Go ahead, Hack. It's on. No question, it's on film. They're going to have to make their adjustments to Felder's point, and that's an acute point. From a macro level, Ohio State, like my daughter and I love watching those like memes and YouTube things where people are messing around by the cage and they're leaning up against some kind of animal reserve or something, and that lion or that gorilla grabs them. Like, what are you doing up there anyway? Every time You turn the ball over against the Buckeyes, they charge you for it. It's not like they give it back to you. They tax you for it. 4 turnovers today. The turnover margin between the two teams, 4-0. And Penn State outgained them, and then they outclocked them, outrushed them. Ohio State only had 26 carries, but that's still some dedication. 98 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. But they tax you. They're versatile on offense, and they attack you, and they tax you on defense for mistakes made. So they're good enough to beat you if you're on your best game, and they're definitely going to get you if you start just throwing the ball around and just being loose with it. To me, they continue to answer more questions, and they're showing resolve, and a 28-0 spurt in the last 6 minutes of the game from all 3 phases to run this game out and say, good, finally. It's that horse with the last, what's that? The breakaway stretch in the Derby?
Yeah.
Gone. See you. Gone. All we were doing. It's good that you stayed with us for this long, but we're out. Like, they play all 4 quarters. They don't get bored, and they're it's a dangerous team.